Hey guys, I am back for day 123. It's very windy out here today, 59 degrees. I'm out here in the Puma Clyde All Pro team model. This is the team model. Here it is from the side, and here it is from the other side. All right, guys. So my introduction to the Puma shoes were probably the Mellow Ball shoes, and I think shoes, those are okay, but Puma really sold me with the Puma Clyde All Pro Nitros. Now I saw the Nitros in a Ross Dress for Less. Actually, it was a Burlington, and I kind of slept on them. I don't know, maybe it was the fact that they were Pumas, I'm not sure, but I just kind of slept on them and I didn't pick them up for that day. But from that day, I just kept thinking about them, and I was like, you know, I really should have picked up a pair. So without really much thought, I picked up a pair of the All Pro Nitros online, and they were just just a cheap pair that someone was getting rid of. It was really cheap, but it was a solid outsole, and despite that, it was I love that shoe. It's one of my favorite shoes. I haven't experienced the problem with the traction that everybody else has been having. It seemed to grip fine for me. Granted, most of my playing though was outdoors on asphalt, but even walking around the house, hardwood floor and everything, I can feel traction, and it felt fine. So the All Pro Nitros kind of made me more interested in the Puma lineup of shoes as a whole, and that kind of took me back to the Clyde All Pro, not the Nitro version. Now that pair in 2026 is a little bit harder to come by and find in in the size that I need. I've yet to snag me a pair of those. However, then I came across this pair of shoes, and I knew it was the All Pro, the Clyde All Pro, but I didn't know what was up. And I eventually found out that it was a team model, kind of sold towards schools and stuff like that, and they changed certain components of it. Might be cheaper as a whole to produce, just little things like that. But I figured I'd go ahead and snag these up. I got them for a really great price, and I thought I'll go ahead and do a review on the team models. So unfortunately, I can't do a realistic experience-based comparison between the original pair and the team models, because I don't own an original pair. I can only speak directly from the experience that I've had with the All Pro Nitros. So what are my initial thoughts after 14 minutes in these shoes? I've actually worn them much longer, pretty much all morning long, for several hours. I can say very, very comfortable. I like them. Now this morning I've been editing video in the bed, but I had the shoes on. I know that's kind of weird, but the shoes were, after a while, they became a little bit uncomfortable from the kind of the pressure of the laces. I had to kind of loosen everything up. I don't know, like the standard fit, I don't know, was just kind of causing a little bit of pressure. And even with the laces kind of loosened, the laces would kind of, with the whole shoe, the whole top of the shoe as a whole would kind of put a little bit of pressure on the top of the foot that kind of made the shoe a little uncomfortable at first. Like these would not be a pair of shoes that I would want to take on a long drive, admittedly. It is a soft upper and it does accommodate the feet, but I guess my thought is, if I put on a shoe and I apply the normal standard pressure that I would to a set of laces, and if I'm just sitting there in 2 or 3 hours, I'm feeling like the shoe is uncomfortable, yeah, I'm not going to want to spend elongated periods of time just in a dormant state in those shoes. But the story changed as soon as I started walking in these things. I immediately felt the level of comfort that they offer. They use something called Pro Foam Plus in these shoes, and it is an EVA compound that is kind of a high energy return. The EVA is kind of an older foam technology, but it is very durable. So, and I think that's what, they had in mind with this shoe to begin with. I think they found a really nice balance between cushion and bounciness, energy return, and court feel in this shoe. I definitely feel low to the ground in the shoe, yet it's offering a really nice heel cushion, as well as like I said, this energy return. I can feel like a little bit more of a pep in the step. The shoe is very lightweight. It's really nice. Now, I think the original models has like a puck of Pebax foam in the heel, which is going to be should give a feeling of boost, if you're familiar with that, in that heel. And this doesn't have that, but maybe if I had those and then I stepped in these, I might be disappointed. But really, just trying these things out for the first time, they feel really nice, guys. I have a foot on just slightly on the verge of being wide, and it is the shoe is narrow, but it's not narrow to the point of being uncomfortable. It is what I would describe as being snug, but again, not uncomfortable. None of my toes are bunched up and uncomfortable or anything like that. If you like a lightweight, snug shoe with excellent traction, decent cushion for impact protection, and great court feel, this kind of sounds like a winner. I'm telling you, this is some of the best money you can spend. All of those things I just said would be characteristics of the Nike Sabrina 1. And I'm telling you, this shoe, the team model, is not far from that. You can pick these things up for hella cheap, and trust me, don't sleep on it. Part of this channel is being honest about my struggles and failures during this weight loss journey. And yeah, I've done some failing this week. So I've had the fast food taste test trips, and those were planned. I didn't really worry about that too much because, again, they were part of the plan that I had for the week. But the way that junk food works is that you give it an inch and it takes a mile. I've done a really great job of keeping junk food out of the house for the most part. And the other day, I was shopping and I went to Aldi, and they had these all dressed chips, and they were like, sounds gross when I think about it, but it's like ketchup and barbecue and salt and vinegar all in one. But I'm telling you, it's like amazing. So the first day I had a handful. That's all I had. I was proud of myself. I put the chips away, no problem. Day number 2 in the evening, oh man, I grabbed those freaking chips. I went to the couch and I just gorged myself until I was full of chips. The next morning, I talked to my wife. I said, babe, you got to keep those things away from me. Give those things to my kid. Just give them to him today. Well, she didn't. They sat right there. And then the very next night, finished off the bag. And I'm like, great. And we're not talking about a small bag here, guys. We're talking about a pretty darn big bag of chips. And then last night, 12-ounce Pepsi. Why do I keep doing this to myself? I've noticed, though, there are more implications than just the bad food and the extra calories. I noticed today was the first day that while I was editing the videos in that bed, I had this thought, I don't want to go walk today. It feels better to just lay here in this bed. And honestly, that was the first day in 123 days where I didn't want to walk. I didn't want to get out here and do it. And that was kind of an odd feeling. Each time I've went out here, I've always looked forward to the next day and the next exercise. This was different. I think it may serve as an indicator that the food we eat drastically impacts our mood. And if we are filling our bodies with absolute garbage, we're probably going to feel less likely or less motivated to get off the couch and exercise or do anything. So I just had to be stronger than that voice, get my butt out here and do it. 40 minutes into the walk, I think the honeymoon period is worn off with the shoe. I have an orthotic in here. I don't experience heel slip, but I can feel that little nag of heel pain just because the cushion is a little bit more firm than it wants it to be. My right foot though feels completely fine because it's not impacted by the issue, and so I'd say for most normal people, they're still going to love this shoe. Just with my current condition, yeah, I kind of feel it right now. How am I ever going to run a marathon with plantar fasciitis? I have no freaking clue. After 50 minutes into the shoe, I do feel a brief amount of toe compression and kind of rubbing against the upper. If I probably stayed in these too much longer, it might form a blister. It's not the worst I've ever had, but yeah, just kind of making a note of it. So I think the thing for me that's keeping this shoe from being kind of one of my personal favorites is the fitment issues. I love so many things about this shoe. It's just that it probably wasn't made for someone with a wide foot. The top of the foot compression and right out of the gate, and now after spending some time in the shoe, the compression of the toes, I don't know, that's really holding it back for me. I think at my age and my foot type, this is a perfect shoe for, you know, a quick pickup game of basketball, light activity, going out to the store, little things like that. And but not really a shoe that I would want to spend all day in. If you have a pair of these, let me know how your experience went with the team models. And that's going to do it for me. Y'all take it easy. Later. I keep forgetting to do the little food reviews. Today, I'm trying the Sprite Berry Blast. It certainly does not look like the advertised picture. I think they kind of skimped out on that phone, but let's give it a shot. All right. It does taste good, guys. You know, the Sprite, it's kind of like the acidity of that Sprite. It's kind of cut down a little bit from the blueberry syrup. I did get a little hit of foam, even though not that time. Going through the straw, I want to take the straw out. That's really nice. Yeah, so overall, good drink. Just, yeah, I think they just kind of skimped out on the foam a little bit. Overall, very nice.